A young girl was eating her lunch in school when a boy opened her lunchbox and took out something that did not belong there. She was so surprised and shocked by what she saw that she started crying. The girl's name was Emma, and she had just finished her math test. Since she had done well on it, she decided to treat herself to a nice lunch. She went over to the window of the cafeteria and bought herself a tuna pie, which was her favorite. Then she returned to her desk, opened up her lunchbox, and pulled out the tuna pie. Just as she was about to enjoy her delicious meal, she heard footsteps approaching her desk. She turned around and saw a boy from her class standing in front of her. He had a mischievous grin on his face and was holding her lunchbox in his hand. "What are you doing?" she asked him angrily. He simply smiled and said, "Let's see what you have in here." Before she could react, he had already opened up her lunchbox and taken out the tuna pie. Emma was shocked and outraged. "Give me back my lunch," she demanded, but the boy just laughed at her and walked away. Emma was devastated. She didn't know what to do. She had worked hard to earn good grades so that she could buy herself a nice lunch, and now some bully had ruined it for her. Tears welled up in her eyes as she thought about how unfair life was. Suddenly, she felt a hand on her shoulder. She turned around and saw a man standing in front of her. "Are you okay?" he asked her. Emma shook her head and wiped away her tears. "There's a boy who took my lunch," she said. The man listened patiently and then asked her to lead him to the boy. He wanted to speak to him and find out what had happened. Emma led the man over to where the boy was sitting. He was surrounded by some of his friends, and they were all laughing and making jokes. The man cleared his throat and the boy turned around. When he saw the man, his face paled. "Can I help you?" he asked nervously. The man stared at him for a few seconds, and then he spoke. His voice was deep and powerful. "Why did you take this girl's lunch?" he asked. The boy looked down at his feet. I don't know," he mumbled. "I was just bored and hungry." The man sighed. "That's no excuse," he said. "You should never take what doesn't belong to you." The boy looked up at the man. "But I gave it back to her," he said. "I just took a bite out of it." The man raised an eyebrow. "Did you now?" "Show me," he said. The boy hesitated, but then he reached into his pocket and pulled out a crumpled piece of paper. He handed it to the man, who unfolded it carefully. It was a receipt from the cafeteria. The man looked at it for a moment, and then he turned back to the boy. "Do you know what this means?" he asked. The boy shook his head. "It means that you didn't give her back her lunch," the man said. "You threw it in the trash can instead." The boy's face fell. I didn't mean to," he stammered. The man shook his head. "It doesn't matter," he said. "What matters is that you learn from your mistakes and make things right." The boy looked down at his feet. "I'm sorry," he whispered. The man turned to Emma. "Would you like me to buy you another lunch?" he asked. She nodded her head shyly. "Thank you," she said. The man smiled. "Of course," he said. "Now come on, let's go get you something to eat." Emma and the man went over to the cafeteria together, and he bought her a new lunch. She was grateful for his kindness and promised to herself that she would never let someone bully her again. After they had finished their lunch, the man went over to the trash can and pulled out the crumpled up piece of paper. He unfolded it carefully and saw that it was a drawing of a family. There were a man, a woman, and 2 children in the picture. The man looked at the drawing for a few moments, and his eyes filled with tears. He didn't know who these people were, but he could tell that they were very important to the girl. He had made a mistake by throwing the drawing in the trash can, and he felt terrible about it. He knew that he needed to make things right. He went back to the classroom and asked the students if anyone knew whose drawing it was. They all shook their heads, so he went to the teacher and asked her if she knew. She looked at the drawing and her face paled. "Oh, my goodness," she said. "This is Lily's drawing. She drew it during art class yesterday." The man's heart sank. He had made a terrible mistake. He knew that he needed to find Lily and apologize to her. He went to the principal's office and explained what had happened. The principal was very understanding and gave him the girl's address. He thanked her and hurried home. He didn't want to waste any more time. He had to apologize to Lily right away. When he arrived at the house, he rang the doorbell. A woman opened the door and smiled at him. "Hi, you must be here about Lily," she said. "I'm her mother. Come on in." The man entered the house and sat down in a chair. Lily's mother brought him a glass of water and asked him what had happened. He told her everything, from how he had found the drawing in the trash can to how he had thrown it away accidentally. Lily's mother listened patiently, and then she spoke. "I want to thank you for being honest with us," she said. "It means a lot to know that you care about my daughter." The man smiled. "Of course," he said. "She's a wonderful girl, and I don't want anything bad to happen to her." Suddenly, Lily came running into the room. "Mommy, who's this nice man?" she asked. Her mother turned to the man. "Lily, this is a friend," she said. "He brought me a present." Lily's eyes widened in surprise. "A present for me?" she asked. The man reached into his pocket and pulled out the drawing. "Yes," he said. "I'm sorry, I tore it, but I promise I'll make it up to you." Lily took the drawing, and her face lit up with joy. "Thank you," she whispered. The man hugged her. "You're welcome," he said. "I'm so sorry I tore your drawing, but I promise I'll make it up to you." As he was leaving the house, he turned back to Lily and said, "I'm so sorry I tore your drawing, but I promise I'll make it up to you." Lily smiled and waved goodbye. "Bye," she said. The man walked away, feeling better now that he had apologized to Lily. He knew that he had made a mistake by throwing away her drawing, but he was glad that he had learned from it. Friends, the tycoon witnessed the girl's empty lunchbox. What he discovered inside brought him to tears. What would you have done if you were in this situation? Let us know in the comments below. If you liked this story, don't forget to like and share it with your friends. And most importantly, don't forget to subscribe so that you won't miss any of our new stories.